Today, episode 3 of the amazing digital circus titled The Mystery of Mildenhall Manor released. Like usual, I'll give a quick synopsis of what happens in the episode and then move on to discuss my thoughts. So the episode starts with the cast doing breathing exercises to see how long they can hold their breath. Each of them have special animations or appearances when breathing as well. They are brought to the mansion by Kane and are given the choice between two doors, with one being scary while the other is peaceful. The doors are actually swapped, and Pomni and Kinger go through the scary door to fetch Gangle's mask. All the while, Kane treats Zubul to a therapy session. Pomni and Kinger go around the house looking for clues and listen to some tapes left by Mr. Mildenhall. The lights go out and they're jump scared by a horrifying creature called the Angel. Pomni and Kinger get tricked by Mr. Mildenhall and are brought down into a cellar. Pomni walks through the smoke and gets turned into a monster before Kinger saves her. Pomni freaks out and Kinger calms her down by explaining how he lost his wife and her abstraction. At the same time, Gangle, Ragatha and Jax are having tea with Mrs. Mildenhall, except Jax was tied up so that he can't interfere. Pomni and Kinger regroup with the rest of the cast and they return back home. Pomni is a bit happier after her time spent with Kinger, remarking that it wasn't that bad. The episode ends. So right off the bat, I think this is my favourite episode so far. It combined the elements I liked from episode 1 and 2 into the perfect blend of existential horror and funny moments. To address the elephant in the room, I can 100% see why Gooseworks was mentioning the body horror aspects of the episode prior to its release. It genuinely caught me off guard. It wasn't necessarily scary, but it was so surprising to see the cute art style of Kinger and Pomni, and then they encounter this terrifying monster. Gooseworks mentioned Roblox in some posts the other day, and I can see why. If you've ever played two games called The Doors or Pressure, you'll immediately see the similarities. It was legitimately a bit frightening, and I wonder if younger viewers would be scared by it. Goose said the series isn't necessarily for kids, so I wonder if this will have an impact on the viewership or fandom in the future. Jax being gagged for the episode was a good change. His character is funny and provides good relief, but in the previous episode it was a good example of how he can be a roadblock for developing the story further if his only purpose is just to cause chaos. This was something I mentioned in my review for episode 2, and there was also a bit of controversy about Jax, with many people saying he ruined the episode. I think it was a great change of pace to have him take a backseat for this one, and instead let the rest of the cast have some fun. The pacing was fantastic. It flowed really well and didn't drag at all, unlike episode 2. In episode 2, the segment where Gummigoo and Pomni were down below the map really damaged the pacing and slowed the episode to a crawl. In this episode, we had a similar scene being when Pomni and Kinger are together, however it was so much better than in episode 2. There was a perfect balance between horror moments and character building. While watching, you'll feel genuinely emotional and empathise with the characters. We got to see why Kinger acts the way he does, and it's genuinely tragic. He's now one of my favourite characters in the show, and I feel like a lot of people will also fall in love with him as well after watching this. The episode returned to form with its superb writing. There was clever jokes like Jax mentioning Zubul not being straight or Kinger's one-liners, but these are perfectly balanced with the lore development and character building. Zubul's scene with Kane not only acts as a bit of comic relief, but we get a short explanation on why Zubul acts the way she does. Added to this, Kane ends up being the one getting therapy and the world glitches, linking it in with him being a bit unstable. There's also some interesting lore to delve into as well, like the bit about Kinger's wife, where Kinger mentioned he had 7 years of computer science. It helps to flesh out the world and keep fans guessing on what's going to happen in the future, which I really like. For a change, I don't have any real criticisms of this episode. It ticked every box and reminded me of why I fell in love with this series. The only potential change I'd make is to reduce the segment with Pomni and Kinger in the dark, because I think that went on a bit too long, but not enough to actually impact the pacing or anything. So overall, episode 3 of the Digital Circus is fantastic. It set the bar really high for future episodes, and I can't wait to learn about the rest of the cast. So what did you think of the episode? Did the horror element shock you? Were you surprised with Kinger's lore? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thanks for watching.